You're tuned into the sexy swinging sounds of the Alliance blog.
I'm building an alliance.
Will you join us?
It's showtime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're not here, you missing out, because this show...
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, listen up.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal. These gentlemen need no introductions, but I'll do it anyways. Right now, to my immediate left. Is it left? I don't know. The camera's all weird over here. We've got New Jersey's finest, Mr. Jaden, a.k.a. the solar power love machine, if you believe the rumors. Right below him is the professor of pro wrestling, Mr. Rick Del Santo. And right next to him, he hasn't been yelling at clouds. He's been waiting to talk pro wrestling with you, and it's DKM. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you?
What's going on, Jay? How's it going?
I'm good.
It's been a while, so I haven't been around.
Yeah, you were out last week.
Yeah.
DK was almost out this week. And Double D says, "Hey y'all, floating head and shoulders of wrestling knowledge."
Ooh.
I'm sort of out.
I'm
more of a floating dot.
You're more of a floating logo. You
Logo.
and DK both.
With a cool little halo that goes around it depending on my voice.
Yeah. Super swinging sounds. Anyways. So what's
Anyway, by the way, real quick, I am required to have an introduction. It's in my contract.
Oh. Well, I didn't have the green M&Ms, so I figured it was okay if I just missed the introduction too.
Isn't that the one that got canceled?
The green M&Ms?
Yeah, the green M&M was the one that got canceled, wasn't it? They changed it.
They caused cancer, right? Back in the day, they said don't eat the green ones, or was that the red ones?
I always thought the green ones were like boner medicine.
Actually, there was the sexy one. Remember, when they made it no longer sexy, the green M&M, and they made it less sexy. Apparently, it got like a big controversy.
Right.
Controversy.
The red ones caused you cancer.
Gotcha.
And,
Okay.
And the green, which they brought back later, and the green character was a very siren type lady at first, and then she just kind of became an angry Karen.
Don't they all?
There's one thing I don't need, and that's an angry Karen.
Isn't that redundant?
I don't know. Look, when I went to elementary school, there was a very nice girl, and her name was Karen. She was sweet, and she was never once mean to me.
Is she mean to you now?
I don't know her now.
I worked with a lovely old lady named Karen, and she was not nice.
You know the whole like the hairstyle, right? That bob that Karens have was made famous by Kate from John and Kate Plus 8. How did they skip over Kate and go to Karen for that name? That's a Kate haircut.
Karen sounds more, I don't know, bitchy, I guess you could say. As opposed to Kate.
But you can't hate a Kate.
You can. Oh, I could hate anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even avocado?
I mean, if it's a bad avocado, I hate that.
Do you like avocados? We had this discussion in my house today. Do you fellas like avocados?
These two
Not
gentlemen
at all.
I love them. I love them.
It looks like baby shit.
I wouldn't. Well, I guess yeah. I think they taste like dirt. I don't like them, but everybody at my house apparently likes them. So my daughter was making a big deal because whoever went grocery shopping grabbed some.
So
Rick, you're the anomaly. You're the anomaly, Jay.
Well,
everybody rather us have good taste and don't like green baby shit that tastes like dirt.
Well, and again, I'm the only one living in the West Coast, so maybe it's maybe
I do
never
had
a good avocado.
I do like guac though. Like I will eat that with chips and stuff like that. So I just people slice it up and put it on burgers and all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, no, thank you. So yeah, apparently you like that. So
there's a pizza place called the Nickelodeon, not far from where I work, and they do a chorizo pizza with avocado on it. I've been afraid to eat it because if the chorizo's not right, it'll tear you up. But if the chorizo's right, like, ooh, that sounds amazing.
That sounds like something in California.
I love chorizo, and it's never right. It always tears me up, and I love it anyway.
Yeah. Have you ever had the Mexican chorizo? It introduces itself. It says soy chorizo.
Yeah, soy.
Thank you, Rick. I saw you laughing.
First of all, your chorizo is made out of soy?
No.
No wonder it ruins you inside. Nothing should be made out of soy. Soy shouldn't be made out of soy.
What about soybeans? You're not a soybean guy?
No, men and soybeans should never, ever mix. Guys, here, anybody listening, if you have testicles, do not eat soy anything. It's not meant for men. Unless you have testicular cancer. Tyrus will eat it. Tyrus will eat soy. He'd eat chorizo. He'd eat avocado. He'd eat Jay.
I think he'd eat anything.
He will. You put it in front of him. He's like one of those whales. He's like Galactus or Unicron.
That's actually not true. I saw a recent picture. Didn't he drop like a ton of weight?
Yeah, well, you still like when you're 24 tons and you drop a ton. Does it matter?
Wow.
Real quick, a Willie Bowen's joke of the day is, "Hi guys, Tyrus is going to play Barney the Purple Dinosaur, but the studio ran out of paint." All right.
They should just asphyxiate them, then it'll go purple.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Sure.
I don't know how to use this very well yet, so you'll have to bear with me if I'm not as quick as I used to be. We're operating with a new streaming software, so this is still mostly the same show. Oh, hey, you know what? Ben in our TikTok chat brought up a perfectly legitimate question, Jaden. What about soy sauce?
No. Unless it's soy lecithin, which is so processed, it doesn't really give you that problem. I love soy sauce, but the problem is it's so full of estrogen. Soy itself is so full of estrogen that it counteracts the testosterone in your body. Men should not have anything with soy. Again, soy lecithin, while it's not good, is so processed that it loses so much of the estrogen stuff. But if it's estrogen and men do not want soy because of estrogen. The only time you should have soy is if you have testicular cancer because it can help shrink it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Both your testicles and the cancer.
Well,
yeah.
I don't really know where to go from that. Noob says, "Hey, Lance Crew, how are you doing today?" We're doing good, Noob. How are you doing, Noob?
You know what? That logo grew on me. I didn't like the font at first, but especially what's in the black and you pull up the little highlights from the chat, I like that.
Yeah,
I think it looks kind of cool.
Very comic book.
It takes some getting used to,
Yeah.
So if I want to have a daughter with my wife, should I eat lots of soy?
If you want to become a daughter, then yeah.
I'll say this, Double D. I've had nothing but girls, and I don't have a large amount of anything. I don't do anything in excess.
We heard about that. Your wife was complaining about it the other day. You don't have a large amount of anything.
Hey, that's fine, man. Got the job done. Look, I can say this without any doubt. There is proof that I have had sex at least 3 times.
What about
with 2 different women? What's that now?
What about in vitro?
I haven't seen the DNA results yet.
Well, if you want them, they're on what's it called? Ancestry. We did the DNA swabs, and all of my children are me.
Interesting.
So eat it, bro.
There's reasons why I refuse to get any DNA testing. I don't want to have to pay payments.
Fuck.
Oh, come on, dude. Let's be serious.
Let me tell you a story, an honest to God story. My half brother, who I'm not very close with, but my half brother had so my half brother, half sibling, much older than I am. When I was 7 years old, I became an uncle for the first time. We found out a couple of years later that my half brother actually had a kid before my first niece. So technically I had a niece and a nephew when I was like 7 years old. Then he had like a bunch more kids, like 4 more kids that we knew about. And then because of the glory that is Ancestry.com, we found out that he had another daughter who was about the same age as the first son that he never even met until she was like in her 30s. And it was like, holy shit. Like, and it's kind of a nice story because now they're close and the families have hung out and they've met and all that. But it just like, it racks my brain to think like, oh man, what if I had a kid out there and someday they found me because of Ancestry? That'd be crazy.
Hey, I got a story where I have a second cousin.
Yeah.
And she had been adopted out as a baby.
Oh.
So one day I get this message on Ancestry about how, from her and about how she had been adopted and she knew who her birth mother was.
Excuse me.
And a couple of aunts and stuff like that. But she was wondering if I knew, anything or whatever. I go, I'll have to ask my mother. I go, that's her side of the family. So I went and asked my mom. I go, did you have a cousin, whatever her name was? And she's like, yeah. I go, well, apparently she gave up a baby for adoption. I go, when she was young and everything. So apparently she had made contact with the family before, but the one that she had kept in contact with that passed away, and she didn't really know anybody else. One of her aunts. And so, like she didn't even know who her grandfather was. And she was asking me, she goes, do you know how we're related? I go, yes. I go, our grandfathers were brothers. I go, my grandfather was Adolfo Ariano. I go, and your grandfather was Delfino Ariano. And so she didn't know that. So she looked up that and found his obituary and then found the names of some of her aunts and uncles. And then she also contacted one of my aunts who gave her a couple of other names. And so the sad but good part about it is her birth mother and her family don't want anything to do with her. Oh. But the rest of the family has taken her in fine.
That's sweet.
So like her cousins and her aunts and uncles and everything like that, like her mother wouldn't even tell her father was. And so she was telling somebody that. She goes, well, I'll tell you who your father was.
Oh, man.
Because I know who your mother was.
I'm glad it censored you. I think everyone froze, though. Maybe it's me now.
It's some good that comes out of that. Not for Jaden, because Jaden would owe a lot back child support. But other than that,
Yeah.
I know my dad loved my mom very much, but I think there might have been infidelity in that relationship. And it was once rumored in the family that there might be a sibling that I'm unaware of long before I was born. And if there is, I don't want to meet him. I'm good.
What if you found out it was Tyrus?
I would probably really sad.
I do have a child in between marriages that I was unaware of, that I met a year after I got married. And we went through the whole process of doing a test and all that stuff and came back, it is mine. So that's something I'm trying to build a relationship with. So
good for you, Rick. I respect that a lot.
Yep.
Ben on TikTok asked me, did I learn about any of my extra heritage? Actually, I did. because I always knew I was Irish. My mom's parents were both like full-blooded Irish, so my mom was essentially full-blooded Irish. So I knew that I'd be at least 50% Irish. It turns out I'm 2% Spanish from Spain and 1%. I can't remember the name of the island, but basically India, from India, not like Native American, but from India. So, and that kind of makes sense to me considering that, there was a lot of colonization in India that it didn't make sense that at some point one of my relatives would have had relations with somebody from India. So yeah, I'm 1% Indian and 2% Spanish, which is funny because my oldest daughter, her mom is Mexican, and it turns out she also has a lot of Spanish blood too. So when we did her ancestry, like, we're both Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, high five, us Spaniards hanging out together. And she's like, shut up, Dad, I'm Mexican. I'm like, no, you're like 10% Spanish. You're 10% Spanish.
I bet my Spanish outdoes yours.
What? Say that again?
I bet my Spanish outdoes yours.
Probably.
You know what's funny, though? Do you know what I have the highest percentage of?
What's that?
Norman from like the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, which
Yeah.
is Sicily and Lower Italy. For those of you who don't know your geography, and if you don't, go learn it. But anyway, I found that funny because it's actually over 50% of my heritage, which means that it comes from both parents, which makes sense because my mother's ancestry would be Spanish, and there was a lot of Spanish intermixing with the Kingdom Two Sicilies. And then, of course, my dad's family was English. And I mean, primarily English, very little Irish, very little Scottish. And of course, the Normans had conquered Scotland. So it was apparently when all that happened, I ended up with like 51%.
Wow.
I'm just a straight up mutt.
Oh, and here's an interesting thing. Have you ever heard that you get half your DNA from your mom and half your DNA from your dad?
Completely not true, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's only semi-true. Because apparently, in the average person, between 1% to 3% of their DNA is actually a spontaneous creation.
Yep.
That's all three of my kids lean towards my DNA as opposed to their mothers. Like, we have closer matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you could, even though it's extremely rare, 75% of your DNA can come from one parent. Even though it's extremely rare for that much to come from one parent.
I'm reading the comments on TikTok because now they're sharing their ancestry too. Keith is his dad is a Scotsman, his mom's Welsh, and he was born in London. So I would say you're very much part of the United Kingdom. And Mia says she is 12% Basque, 36% Spanish, 7% Portuguese, and 3% French, and the rest is indigenous. So that's pretty cool. Like my daughter, because she's half Mexican, her mom is Spanish, and there's let me say that differently. Her mom's Mexican and has like Spanish heritage and indigenous heritage as well. So it's all kind of mixed up. But
that's because nobody suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
No, well, yeah, I mean the Spaniards, man.
Nobody suspects the Spanish Inquisition. What, am I the only Monty Python person here?
No,
I thought if anybody DK would have got it.
I got it.
Okay.
Well, sometimes I'm on mute.
No, I'm not a huge Monty Python fan, but I know a lot of the bits. Oh, it's only a flesh wound, but I've never really actually sat and watched it.
Used to watch it. Used to be on MTV, during the week, right? In the later, like in the 90s, I think they reran it. What the hell am I trying to say here? sometime
Obviously,
in
the reruns
90s.
of it.
Yeah, obviously.
watched-
Yes, yeah.
I watched it on PBS.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw bits and pieces of it when I was a kid.
When I was a kid, I used to watch Doctor Who on PBS when I was like real young in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Jeez.
Are you Tom Kane, Doctor Who?
As far as as my fandom,
No, like when you first started watching it, like what's your first Who?
I don't remember, honestly. I was 5-6 years old, so I really don't remember. I could tell you who I like in the semi-modern universe, but I haven't watched it since I think Matt Smith joined. So
is that because you don't like Matt Smith?
I don't like Matt Smith as Doctor Who. I actually really like David Tennant as Doctor Who as the Doctor, and I really like, even though it was like one season, was Christopher Eccleston as well. But he didn't want to get wrapped up in that role. I thought he was a terrific actor.
So here's another one for you. As much as I'm into sci-fi, never saw Doctor Who. Didn't watch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'll excuse that because it's fantasy, but it's still, I'll excuse that one because that's a load of dump. That's a dump.
Didn't care for Harry Potter.
Nope.
And what was the one that was on HBO that everyone talked about?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of that, and it was fine, but like I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
He mentioned one sci-fi show, by the way. That whole crew.
I never watched Battlestar Galactica.
That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
Old
that was good.
First series or the newer updated series?
I didn't watch any of it. One of my favorite shows was the miniseries. That was pretty fun.
The modern one or the one from the 1980s?
From the 80s. The real
starring
one.
Mark Singer. Yes.
When they're eating the canaries.
Yeah. Mark Singer, which was and also who was Beastmaster. That's a legendary film as well. Beastmaster. That's like one of my favorite 80s films. Nobody responds. All right, great.
No, I love and I love Beastmaster. And I actually met I can't think of her name. She was also in that 70s show.
Laura Prepon.
No, I wish I would have met Laura, especially when she was a redhead. No, the mom in Laura Prepon's mom in.
She was in the first Beastmaster movie, right?
Yeah, she was in. She was on Body Slam.
Yeah, she didn't she die or something like that?
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look it up. I can't remember because she was.
Tanya Roberts. Yeah, Tanya Roberts.
Yeah, Tanya Roberts. Thank you. Yeah.
She's the one that had a big thing on.
Two big things.
Are we turning into that kind of show?
I think.
First of all, have you been around me at all? Have you met me? Have you even not listened to me just randomly say stuff?
Once.
When Joan Rivers was
alive,
was that her daytime talk show?
That was a daytime show? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, which was more successful than her nighttime one. But Tanya Roberts was on there one time, and she comes on and starts demanding an apology from Joan Rivers for something she supposedly said, which Joan denied, and she tried to get in a battle of wits with an insult comic.
Yeah,
it didn't go well for her.
I can imagine.
With Joan's best line being because she had said something about her brother, and she goes, your brother should be upset to be related to someone who slept their way to the middle.
Oh, she was also in A View to a Kill, which is, that's a great film as well.
I didn't see that one.
No.
Hey, did you guys hear? Wait, I said that wrong. Did you guys watch The X-Files?
A little bit.
First season.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, that came out when I was in high school, and I was playing football on Friday nights, and that's when it was on. So I kind of missed it, but I would watch, in the off season, I would watch the replays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy was really into that show at the time, so I was trying to watch it because he watched it, And it was like, look, there were some of the stories were really interesting, and some of it was just kind of, I don't know. It wasn't for me, but some of it.
I thought that was it David Duchovny was a terrific actor. I watched it a lot in the reruns. I didn't watch it when it originally aired, but I also discovered while I was living in Hamden, Connecticut, that there was an episode that took place in Hamden, Connecticut. And while I'm watching it, nothing in that episode, it was way too nice to be Hamden, Connecticut, because Hamden was kind of a dump. The section I lived in was a kind of a nicer area, but a lot of it was kind of ghetto and like not so nice. But so so I just thought that was kind of funny when I saw that, when things like that happen. You know what I mean?
I know Devin Dowling. That was actually starring in that, not as watching it.
Oh my
that
God, stop. Oh,
details. I have a question.
Sure.
Could you guys, to whoever watched the show, anyone who watched the show, could you tell that the two main characters didn't like each other? I mean, did that come across on screen?
I never really noticed it.
I was too young to realize stuff like that, I think, when that was on the air.
That also happened with Moonlighting, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh my God! And I watched Moonlighting, and I was way too young to be watching that show.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
I mean, I can go back to Welcome Back, Kotter.
I've been
watching Welcome Back, Kotter.
I did a whole marathon the other night of Welcome Back, Kotter. Like I watched that. I watched a lot of sitcom reruns at night, and I watched like 5 hours of Welcome Back, Kotter the other night.
Well, Kotter and his wife didn't get along in real life, and you can't tell so much in the first couple of seasons, but by the end, before Gabe Kaplan left the show, left his own show, you could see the strain. I mean, they rarely put them together. When they were together, it wasn't always comfortable.
That final season is very interesting because John Travolta was only in like 10 episodes, and he was like one of the major stars of it. And when he came in, they only listed him as a special guest star, John Travolta. So I thought that was kind of interesting, an interesting tidbit about that show. Yeah, it made a Saturday Night Fever, right? Like during that time, came out in between like the last two seasons, I believe.
Real quick, before I'm going to talk about Robert Hedges. Robert Hedges. By the way, we do anything to avoid talking about power. In case you haven't figured that out yet. Robert Hedges, actually, I met him because he played Epstein, not the one that didn't shoot himself, and Juan Epstein. And he used to teach at Rowan University, and I did an interview with him. I was the producer of the television show that did the interview with him in my high school. And I loved Wilma Deering in Battlestar Galactica. Erin Gray, I think her name was. Yeah, her and Jennifer Connelly were very instrumental in my developmental as a youth. So we were talking about Buck Rogers until I put it on the screen. Sorry, but Erin Gray was
Buck Rogers. I used to watch Buck Rogers when I was a kid. Gil Gerard? Yeah.
Gil Gerard, yes, and Mel Brooks did Tweaky's voice. Bitty 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 bitty.
So, do you remember the sorry, Jay, the Gil Gerard series from the was it mid '80s after this called Sidekicks, or no?
No.
Sorry, I'm having a family emergency over here. It turns out my daughter was watching when I mentioned the fact that I have 3 kids and how I have those 3 kids. So now I'm dealing with fallout on the old phone over here. Anyways,
okay. So how'd that start anyway? Is that my fault? Did I start a World War III? Kids?
No, it's not a World War III. It's just, you had, okay. DK has kids. Rick has kids. They don't want to know about how they were made. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to know that. And think about your parents. You don't want to think about your parents like that.
I don't know what they were doing. No.
My mom told me I was found, so I don't know.
Well, all right.
So this is like that old Vicki Lawrence story.
Go ahead, Mama.
Do tell.
Vicki Lawrence, who also had a daytime talk show once, was telling the story about how her parents sat her and her sister down and explained where babies came from. And so, they listened and they understood, and got it, whatever, and then, happily went on their way. And she said for, 2 or 3 years, they both thought their parents had intimate relationships twice. Once for Vicki and once for the sister. She goes, when they found out it was an ongoing thing, they totally freaked out.
Yeah, I get that. Real quick, going through the chat here. Let's see. Now World War III is more like guerrilla warfare for the later. Yeah, I'm in trouble, Wiccan. That's for sure. In the chat,
why would you let your kids watch real quick? Why would you let your kids watch anything that I'm on? Because you just know I'm a loose cannon.
Yeah, I didn't know she was going to be watching, and I think her friend jumped on too. So it's like double the terrible.
Take them for some ice cream things will smooth things over.
Yeah, we'll go get Cold Stone later. If you're watching Axolotl Kid, we'll go get Cold Stone later.
There you go.
You did.
Yeah.
Double D said his dad told him the whole story, and I'm just thinking that's. Did he go into detail? Because I wouldn't want to hear that.
Anybody
brought up graphs.
Anybody ever catch their parents before?
No. DK just took off.
DK took off. He's out. I walked in on my parents once, and I swear to God, I saw my dad jump off my mom so fast.
We had so I was the baby of the family, right? I was literally, my dad was 37 when I was born. My mom was 35. I was the baby. I was the last guy. And by the time I was old enough to know any better, there were, I don't think, look, what are we talking about here? I don't want to do this. I'm done.
This is more like a. This is more like.
Can we talk about power now? Come on.
It's more like a shock radio, like shock jock.
Yeah. Let's talk about power. Let's talk about something less horrifying than Billy Corgan's booking.
Wait, Mia said my mom fell off the bed with the comforter around her. Apparently, she was on top. Oh my God.
This is what the Lions guy should be now.
Well, I mean, we're trending on TikTok right now. We're doing good. No, I'm just kidding. We're not. So I was the baby. I didn't see any of that stuff. But like I said, I think my dad was. I think my dad had things outside of the house. So,
Yeah, if we're going to talk about dads, do everybody know I'm the youngest of 30?
I knew there was a lot. I didn't know it was 30.
Yeah, on my dad's side, I'm the youngest. Technically, I'm the youngest of 35, but or 34 because they're one of each. So, but on my dad's side, I'm the youngest of 30 kids.
So we only got 2 hours. I don't know if you can fit that story in here, but
I don't going to name all their names. But I found out because my half brother was looking for my father because I'm a junior, and said got me, and then he said that they hired a private detective and he wanted to know if I was sending for information and if I'd be interested in the results, and I'm like, yeah. And next thing you know, I found out that I'm the youngest that we know of 30 children.
Wow.
Your dad was really bored.
He was a hoe.
For show.
What did he do? Was he like a milkman or truck driver or something?
Apparently his nickname was Johnny Appleseed, but
he was an entertainer by trade.
No, there's all right. He just slept with pretty much every woman from about southern New York to about southern New Jersey, with a lot of Scranton, Pennsylvania in the area. Apparently half the office is related to me, and yeah. And so there was a lot of brothers and sisters that I found out about later, half brothers and sisters. I'm the only one of my mom and my dad. And so I learned that out. And then Well, I was dating this one girl from Wilkesboro, which is right outside of Scranton. And when she said she didn't know who her dad was, I'm like, oh. And she was way younger than me, so I was thinking maybe like grandfather or something like that. But we found out no, it's not relation, but still, it was enough to. It was like, wait a minute.
Mia and on TikTok just said no TV in any of his houses. So
lots of video cameras, though. No, just kidding.
Oh God. All right.
Actually, back then they probably would have film cameras, but still.
This is the last story I'm going to tell. Because it has a happy ending, but we were talking about ancestry.
So did my dad's.
Oh my God! So
happy endings.
So my mom, who was a saint. All right, my mom was a saint, and her parents both were like 100% Irish because their parents came over and they settled in Zanesville, Ohio. And the reason why that is specific is because Zanesville, Ohio is also where Michelle's mom's family comes from.
Oh.
Excuse me.
And yeah, and it's like, okay, that's a very extreme coincidence, right? That's kind of strange. It's kind of weird. Now, through ancestry, we know we're good. But there was a little bit of doubt there for a little bit when her mom's like, yeah, I'm from Zanesville, Ohio. And then I'm going through my family tree stuff, and there's a lot of Zanesville, Ohio stuff. And then my sister confirms, like, oh, yeah, our grandparents lived in Zanesville before they moved to California. And I'm like, oh.
Isn't that where the mailman knocked up 3/4 of the town?
I don't know, man.
There's actually a legit story where the 3/4 of the population was born from one mailman. Or related to one mailman of a town in Ohio.
Mia said, "Y'all wildin'." Wiccan says, after having 35 kids excuse me, let me try that again. After hearing 35 kids, the last thing we need to hear is the phrase "happy ending."
Well, only 30 of them were from my dad. So,
all right. Well, moving on. So, hey, did you guys watch NWA Power this week?
I had it on in the background while I was working today. Does that count?
Kinda.
Okay.
I watched it.
What did you
still
think?
The Crockett Cup?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I didn't have to watch it. Good.
No, you're in the clear. You don't have to watch nothing. What did you think of the Crockett Cup matches this week, DK? Without going into details, I mean, like, just what did you think about the show overall?
It's actually been one of their better shows of the Crockett Cup thing, which have all been solid, but this one was maybe a hair better.
I watched it and I was thinking, because again, Jaden and I were there live, and this was filmed back in May. Jaden and I were there live, and I thought this is probably the best NWA content that they've done in a very long time, maybe even going back to Atlanta, right? Like, I've been very happy with the Crockett Cup, and being there live was very, very good. But watching it on TV is always going to be a different set of eyes because of how they're going to produce it, what they're going to focus on, what story they're going to try to tell with production. And it seems like they didn't do a whole lot of editing with the show. It just seems like it's right from film to tape to broadcast. But this week in particular, what I was really impressed with was the opening package for the show. And this is the kind of stuff that I think, man, if they've been doing this all along, this would have been such a better way to tell the stories. Now, unfortunately, with the promo packages, they're giving us like double the content, and not in a good way. It's like they have this great opening package for the Crockett Cup, but most of the interviews we've heard, before. Most of the interview portion of these we've already heard. And then they kind of go back to it. And so we hear it again after we've already seen this highly produced video. And to me, the thing that it bothered me, but it's, again, much better than watching a bunch of ridiculous, dumb skits. But like, maybe if they did those interview packages the week before and then have that nicely produced package to present before the match, I mean, I feel like that would flow a lot better. And DK, you watched it. So what did you think? do you agree with me? Like the promo packages would be better if they spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like the look of the promo packages, but they seem long. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem long. And so I'll admit, I don't pay as much attention to things that are going on when it's not ring action. That's when I'm more likely to get up and be getting a drink or pouring cereal or something, you know.
Probably PTSD from those horrible skits.
Yeah, probably.
Jeez, everybody went from talking constantly about things, now we're all quiet.
Yeah.
But we're all having trauma release from remembering those horrible skits. That's why, people.
Well, yeah, and for those of you who are watching the NWA for the first time or are not familiar with it, the NWA is going through this weird process where they're trying to establish who they are, what they are. The NWA that came out prior to COVID-19 and all the shutdowns and everything else was a very different product than what we watch today. Extremely different, radically different. And it's not just the talent that's changed, but the people behind the scenes as well. The people who write the show, produce the show, direct the show. It's very, very different. So when we talk about these terrible promos, like literally the last big taping event they did was before Crockett Cup was, I believe, back in March in Forney, Texas in Dothan, Alabama for Hard Times. And it was a very difficult watch. The name was very appropriate. It was Hard Times. The Crockett Cup has been significantly better. DK will say it's been solid, but I'll say as an NWA fan, it's the next step where I want them to be. They're not perfect yet. That's not amazing yet, but it certainly feels like they're heading in the right direction. And based on what Rick told us about the 77 anniversary show, based on what I've heard about the TV tapings that they filmed back in June, I'm very much excited to see what's next for the NWA. And when I see the packages that they produced, it felt more big league. It felt more big time. It didn't seem as hokey. Could you agree with that, DK? Or would you?
Yeah, packages versus skits. Let's make a comparison there. Skits make you look like a local production from your grade schoolers of your favorite musical. if you have a favorite musical.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I was a kid, my school did The Wizard of Oz. And it was like, you know, 5th and 6th graders doing it. And it was fine for 5th and 6th graders doing it, but it's not something that you're going to go see in a movie theater and buy popcorn and, you know, soft drink and stuff like that. And
unless you saw the Cats in theater, then it's pretty much the same thing. Not from Cats to the production that DK was talking about.
Yes.
Sorry.
And so, luckily, I've never seen Cats and never shall. Either on stage or in the theater. But, yeah, I mean, they're goofy, they're stupid. They're not well acted.
Sure.
In fact, they're horribly acted. I'm sorry. But, you know, going to be real here. So that's kind of, I mean, I don't see how that doesn't turn off anybody who doesn't make a conscious decision just to like what the NWA puts out.
I think that's fair. I mean, look, and I say this because I've been a staunch supporter of the NWA for a very long time. There's times when it's not good, but I would argue that this season has been, or at least this taping cycle has been really good.
I really only have one issue with this saga. To finish my thoughts though on the promo things that they build, I mean, those actually look well conceived and well produced. And it's, you know, everybody talks about wanting the 10 pounds of gold to return. I don't know that I need the 10 pounds of gold to return. I think that's something of the past. But having this type of thing, see, I'd be putting this type of thing out on YouTube or X or wherever you want to put it, everywhere, you know, and that type of thing. And maybe do a shorter version on the show to hype up whatever. But my only frustration with the Crockett Cup is they filmed way too many effing episodes out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny, there was an interview somewhere with Brian Idle, and he was also saying how none of them like the fact that they're so far behind on TV or whatever, and they're working on something bigger or even outside Roku and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I don't want to call you a liar, but I'm going to call you a liar because it's September 2nd, and I'm watching something that was filmed May 17th.
Yep.
If that's the case, we're not going to see the title change until February.
Yeah, I mean, by my
you know
math,
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well,
so to what DK is saying, like, so,
Yeah.
and there's still 3 big matches left of this Crockett Cup run. Now we have
Right.
the world title, which they advertised for next week, and then we still need the Crockett Cup Finals, and there's still the Natty Neihart versus Kenzie Page match, which I'm kind of resigned to think that they might not release.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking today when I put it on. Because I didn't know what I was going into today. And I was like, they haven't announced this yet. I said, what is it now? 5 weeks, 6 weeks worth of TV that they've done? And so I'm like, are they ever going to show that? Do they not have the rights to show that match? I mean, with an outside contracted talent. I don't know.
What's crazy to me is because, look, Natty showed up in AAA. Now, obviously, that's now owned by the WWE. It's a different story. But Natty has appeared for Game Changer Wrestling, where she was on their pay-per-view, and she was on the Reality of Wrestling.
GCW is also a WWID thingy-mabob, whatever, affiliation. So
are they actually?
Is it really?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't believe so, because they don't have a school.
They showcased one of the tournaments for the title for the.
That's a little bit different,
so.
Because anyone could book a WWE ID match, but like until recently, you know, Rikishi's promotion was part of the ID program. Not anymore. Reality of Wrestling is part of the ID program, which makes perfect sense.
Right.
But I just think GCW was just getting that opportunity to showcase the match.
They hosted the whole tournament like one night, or like, you know, it was split into 2 nights. They hosted one night, and Future Superstars of Wrestling hosted the second night or something like that. The one based out of, was that Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to Wrestling Inc., GCW is part of the WWE ID program. The program was launched to support the development of independent wrestlers, and GCW has recruited talent for this initiative. Notably, Jack Cartwheel from GCW has been included in the WWE ID program. Indicating isn't. Sorry, I'm just reading it on Bing right now. Recruiting talent and I don't know. I don't think that's 100% confirmed. You could be right.
There's always an inside joke rumor that Brett Lauderdale actually has a tape between Randy Savage and Stephanie McMahon, and that's why that he works with them, because that's why he's so friends with whatever. He's always getting pictured with Stephanie. That's been the inside joke for a while with GCW and the WWE's affiliation.
Oh God, man, I hope not. Willie Bowen wants to remind everyone that he feels like the WWE sucks.
Really, Willie? You never expressed that before.
I can't tell you the last time. Well, last show that I watched was SummerSlam, and I haven't turned it on since. So I don't know if that indicates anything, but
hey, put that back up there, Jay.
What is it?
they're still promoting Latimer as champion. That's not fair to Silas.
Yeah, and I see. The funny thing about it is Silas was cutting his promo on Latimer at the end of the episode, but the graphics was promoting the match. Like the graphics were promoting the match for next week, and that kind of like made no sense whatsoever for me because they're talking about going to New York, which already happened. But by the time it hits TV, when the hell is it going to hit TV? Months from now. So. And they were advertising as he's speaking, cutting a promo on Latimer. The graphics were advertising the match for against Colby and the other guy, Rhino.
Yeah.
Well, they filmed TV. They filmed TV in between Crockett Cup and
77.
I don't remember what 77.
Yeah.
And so it's taking them what? Was this week 6 or week 7 of?
This was week 6. Next week, obviously, will be 7 because it's the world title match. But
so it's possible we could have 8.
Yeah, it's a very real possibility.
Damn.
I wouldn't care if they had 8 if they just skip the TV taping and go straight into the 77.
Well,
and maybe
that's kind of my thing. If you say, that's why I was like, if Idol's out there saying, "Oh, we hate the delay," stuff like, well, you're not doing any damn thing about it. You're making it longer. You're extending it. So I don't believe you. Is my story.
Yeah,
it's not him though. Is it him that's extending it? It's in all reality, it's probably just Billy being Billy.
No, well, I'm sure it's Billy, but he talks like it's the NWA. But you got to do something about it. You're never going to catch up until you stop recording TV. And
can they
actually?
If they had a good editor, they could go right to the 76 and still take footage from the TV taping and just put like some kind of separate program or something. They just had a good editor. They could do something like that. And I don't mean Lagana. I mean like a really, really good editor who knows how to be creative with pre-consistent stuff like that. They could do so much and still get some footage out and still use the 76 and still do whatever they need to do and not make it look like that they're going back from months and months and months ago and get this out very fast and just do some really cool stuff. You know how like the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions used to do stuff where you would see footage from a house show and then on their TV taping, they can do that. And then it's like, here, we're going to go to the match and just go to that. They can still get weeks of stuff out of there and still put the modern stuff in there. They just need a good editor.
They used to show
They did that. They did that when Ronnie Garvin won the title.
Yep.
Yes.
They kept going from their pre-taped Sunday show to the title match, which had taken place the night before. But they had, they were making it sound like, oh, here's an update from what's going on in Detroit.
And it would be very like, look, I understand Jaden said like, and you need to have someone who knows what they're doing. And I'm going to say like, you just need to have someone who's somewhat good because really like they have 3 matches filmed. You have the world title match, you have the Crockett Cup. They have to put on TV. If they can't put Natty on TV, that's fine. I understand. I think it's dumb, but I understand. Those 2 matches should have been the Crockett Cup final should be its own episode. And what they can do is literally put matches from Tampa on that card. The world title match should be by itself. Again, they can filter that with some stuff from the Tampa tapings. They don't need to wait to do this. Mm-hmm. They're just going to. And that's where DK says, like, I think you're lying. I kind of agree because it's very easy to add some additional content that they've already filmed. They have a whole at least 4 weeks of TV from Tampa, maybe more. And then so let's say that next week September 9th, September 9th, they do the world title match. Then September 16th, they do the tag match. Then that means we're not getting to those Tampa TV tapings before 77 until the middle of September. Then that takes it to the middle of October, when we'll see the 77th anniversary show, which if they stretch that out another 7 weeks, now we're in November, and then they have another TV taping that's happening, and then we've got Saul winning Christmas time. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's so dumb to me.
That happened last year. They actually had a Christmas tree on the Saul Win set because that's when they were going to air.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A Fightmare before Christmas.
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you, a really good editing team, a really good production team, a really good any team could really get this together. They don't need any of that. They need to stop filming stuff.
Yeah.
Or just screw whatever it is that they did film in between. Lock it in a vault. Put it out on YouTube. I don't really give a crap.
Create a secondary show, or just stop having so many title changes all the time, so then people got to wait for them and people know about them.
Well, and stop acting like people don't know.
Yeah.
That too.
And we brought up, like, it's not fair to Silas Mason. You know, they did the same thing to Tom Latimer too when he won the title. They still treated EC3 as the world champion until Tom won it on TV. The only problem was they put it on Tom relatively quick. That episode of that episode.
They ran it. Yeah, they ran it almost. Yeah, they ran that match almost pretty quickly after it happened.
But they did that with Brian Idol. They did that with a lot of people. So it's. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that it's par for the course, to be quite honest.
It's stupid.
Yes.
And slow and useless.
What Jaden said.
I'm also. Go ahead, DK.
I was going to say, I mean, really another thing you could do, if you wanted to do just something different, you could take the stuff that was filmed at TV that builds up for the world title match, air that as some kind of like promo thing for the first 20 minutes, and then have the world title match.
Right.
See, this is what set it up. Something. I don't care. Like I said, just don't show episodes. I don't care. Bring out the world title. Bring out title changes. Forget everything else, and get back in sync on time.
And there's also, like, again, a lot of the matches that don't exactly matter. And I mean, I get it. And I'm not trying to shortchange the roster because I'm not saying that they don't deserve TV time and whatever. But here's the thing about December anyways, a lot of wrestling fans are kind of tuning out because it's the holidays. That's a time when you start filling out those matches that were recorded that don't need to be on TV right now.
Right.
And the Tampa tapings, it's in the same venue every time. It's with the same lights, the same stage, the same basically audience. Like, we could just have a lot of Tampa footage after Saul win to, you know, bring us into the new year, and we wouldn't really know the difference if they blended it correctly and had a master storyline that they were trying to tell. That's not what we have, though. We have Billy Corgan, and it's his way or the highway. That's just the absolute truth of it, and it doesn't matter what we think as fans. This is what he's going to do until someone with more money or more power tells him to do it differently, and it kills the momentum. Because, like, look, I was riding very high after Crockett Cup. I was super excited about the show, and we were still watching stuff from Hard Times, which was filmed in March, and what we were at was filmed in May, which we're just now still in August and September. We're still going through, and it's like that momentum it kills it, you know. And people, you know, Rick went to 77. Without a whole lot of knowledge about what was going to happen at that event. You know, they even changed some of the title matches that were scheduled for that event. And, you know, it worked out in the end. But at the end of the day, like, your fans don't even know what to expect anymore. We're coming to a show and we're coming in with blind eyes. And that's, you know, as someone who watches as much NWA as I'm watching, it shouldn't be like that. The story should be consistent.
Think about this. Crockett Cup has crossed 3 months. It started at the end of July.
Yep.
Went all the way through August. And we're now in September and it's not even done. That is totally ridiculous.
For sure.
So the show qualities have been better. Not great, but better. But you still got things you got to work on in getting timing. And, you know, when Billy first took over, he had this huge chip on his shoulder. And Dave Lagana had a huge chip on his shoulder. And they were going to show all of us. You know, because people weren't sure if this rock star could do wrestling or whatever. Dude, the only thing you've done, especially after Lagana left, he picked up Lagana's chip and added it to his own.
Yeah.
And the only thing that he's really done is proved us right.
Yeah.
Those of us who wondered if a rock star could do it. Oh, I became a rock star and doing things my own way. Okay, but this has been what, 7, 8 years now?
Yeah.
You're 8 years into your 20-year plan? And so you're almost halfway through, and yeah, it doesn't look like you know what you're doing.
And I mean, to further punctuate that, like, look, at the end of the day, this is wrestling. You know, WWE is a multi-billion-dollar corporation owned by TKO, so they do this flawlessly. AEW, owned by a billionaire, they do this flawlessly.
A billionaire son, real quick. A billionaire son.
He has his own cash, no?
He has his father's cash.
Okay, well,
look. It's his inheritance, but he's spending it early, so it's not his yet.
Sure.
Right. The dad gave him and the sister inheritance early so he could watch them spend it on whatever they wanted to.
Well,
so
he enjoyed themselves, yeah. What's his sister buying? What did his sister end up buying?
I would tell you, but then I get in trouble again. The point, and then TNA is also owned by a multi-million-dollar corporation as well. So I guess what I'm saying is we have high expectations for Billy Corgan's National Wrestling Alliance, but we got to know full well that this is his part-time passion project, and we could tell because we hear about Madame Zuzu's all the time, the coffee tea shop. We hear about new Smashing Pumpkins music and concerts. Billy has his own podcast now, and it's like the guy wants to do everything, and that's why the NWA doesn't get as much love as it should, because the guy wants to spin 10 different plates when he should be doing maybe 2, maybe 3. But like with the wife, the kids, the concerts, the new music, the tea house, the NWA, the podcast, I mean, this dude wants to do everything. And I don't blame someone for being ambitious, but you're spreading yourself too thin. It's time to hire somebody to run this company for you. At the very least, it's time to at least share the leadership with somebody else, because you got too much stuff going on. There's no way that your boy Jay could do a live pro wrestling show, run my own business, do weekly podcasts and TikToks and all that other stuff, and have a successful wrestling promotion. It's just not possible. There's not enough time. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I've got other responsibilities besides running a pro wrestling show. Billy Corgan has other responsibilities besides playing fantasy wrestling booker. You know, Tony Khan, you don't see Tony Khan's wife. I don't even know if he has a wife.
I'm sure he's even been with a woman.
You said it, not me, brother.
Well, actually,
Tony Khan does hold several full-time jobs.
Sure.
Because his dad owns all those sports teams, and he's supposedly president of most of them or something.
Doesn't he own the Jaguars? Tony does own the Jaguars, not his father?
His father owns the Jaguars, but he owns the analytic company that not just the Jaguars, but I think a lot of the NFL use the analytic data that
Gotcha.
his company collects, which kind of makes sense if you've ever seen Tony. He's like an encyclopedia of knowledge. And I feel like that's not just for pro wrestling. I think that's for everything. I think his brain works.
Oh no, he's very much a stats nerd.
Yeah.
First of all, he's the Wikipedia of knowledge, not an encyclopedia. He's the Wikipedia of knowledge. There's a big difference.
No one's paying me for my knowledge.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Maybe
he knows a
buckets.
lot. He is a stats nerd, and he's probably good when it comes to stats.
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate into being able to run a wrestling company or being able to run a football company or being able to run a soccer company in the UK.
I'm not a Tony Khan apologist, right? I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but he is running a pro wrestling company, whether you like it or not, whether Jaden likes it, whether I like it, whether Rick likes it. He's running a pro wrestling company. Maybe it's not to your taste, but he's actually doing it. I mean, we haven't heard about them having to cut talent because they couldn't afford it. We haven't heard them, they were struggling to find a new home for ROH, but AEW still has 2 different shows a week, plus they have pay-per-views. They're doing, like, maybe the attendance isn't as big as it used to be, but they're still, filling out venues. I got to give Tony credit where credit is due. You might not like it. They might not like it, but he is doing it.
Well, the only thing I want to correct you on is that his pay-per-views do well, and his pay-per-views have good attendance. His TV tapings are drawing what the NWA draw and Philly and whatever.
I could say they're all maybe a couple thousand. No, I don't know what the NWA is drawing.
Between 900 to 1,000.
Jesus.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he's at the 2300 arena now.
Right.
That's where they're doing their current residency.
Yeah.
So, now, is he selling out 2 times a week? Maybe something close. I don't know. But, let's not overstate. Let's not overstate or understate what he's doing. His pay-per-views draw 20,000. They sell 150K. So, by any measure, that's success. I mean, is he making money? I don't know, because you can't believe what they say.
Sure.
Because they said, oh, he was making money his first year with the deal that he got from Turner and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, when they're renegotiating and everything like that, and you find out, no, they actually weren't making money during that time.
Well, let's you are right. Let's not overstate what Tony is, but certainly let's not understate either, because I know you are entering the realm of being a professional wrestling promoter, and I'm sure you would love to have the gates that he's having. And I'm sure even, Jaden is not the promoter, but Jaden works with Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, and I'm sure he would love to have the gates that Tony's drawing. So, let's not understate it, and I agree with you. Let's not overstate it either. But don't say that the guy is.
I want the gates he's drawing if it pays.
Sure.
If I can make money out of it.
Without his payroll, that'd be great.
Yeah. Tony's never had to make money, and it's been debated whether he has made money or not. That's all I'm saying. We don't know. We don't have the books. It's a private company,
and that's 100% fair.
But even within them, they have told different stories. They've at some point said yes, they're making money, and then later on kind of go, well, not really, but we're going to with our new deal. And it's just like, okay.
There's also merch sales, sponsorship deals, stuff like that, that'll bring in extra revenue. No?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's a company I know here, and someone goes, I don't see how they make any money when they only draw 100 people. I go, I'm not sure they make any money. I go, but I think they're probably just above break even. Yeah. I go, because they have advertising and sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
And you use that to pay the talent in the building.
Right.
So you guys know that I consider myself a friend of Dave Marquez. Correct. And I certainly would not speak on his behalf, but his gates, they're not killing it, right? but he has the ability to run these TV shows because of the sponsorship money that comes with it. Now, he did have, like during COVID, a lot of things went wrong for the company and they tried to keep things moving along, and some sponsorship deals did fall apart and it significantly hurt the company. But like what DK said, it's not always about the gate. It's, the sponsorship, to what Rick said, the merchandising. And look, and none of us know what TK has spent or has made or anything else. So we're all just kind of guessing. But like, bringing it back to the NWA, we can kind of tell what Billy's doing. We kind of see the reflection of it. At one point, their last pay-per-view, like I think they did like 120 buys, and that was a success. And I'm thinking like, no, they lost a fortune on that, because even just the production truck.
They should have several thousand purchases, not 100. I'm not say, oh, great, we purchased we sold 120 shows. No, they should be in the thousands, if not, you know what I'm saying? But
for sure.
It's I don't even know where to go with this, because it's just like, it's frustrating to say, because it's like, it's the NWA. It's like, to me, it's an important entity in the world of professional wrestling, as it is you guys. So it's, there's so much, it's got such this rich history that you should be happy. I mean, you should be disappointed, rather, if you're only selling 120 buys. If there's only 120 buys, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like, well, screw this. I'm just going to put it live on YouTube instead. Like, that would be my next option, but he's stubborn and doesn't want to use YouTube because he doesn't like the payouts.
Well, and we say he doesn't want to use YouTube, but if you go to their channel, they're uploading content all the time. He's just not using that as the vessel for power, which I think would have been a much better decision than X. I don't know if Roku 100%. Is bigger or better. I mean, Roku so far seems pretty good.
I mean, I've had a Roku since its inception. I haven't, like, the actual Roku Sports, I haven't gone crazy over the years. I've watched a few things here and there, a couple movies here and there, but since the NWA has joined, that's been the one thing each and every week I've consistently gone to, because it's actually on my television and I don't have to watch it on my phone or some crap like like X. I don't want to, you can't get X on your television. So there's an option, you know what I mean? And I think it's a better option. I think a lot of people actually do have Roku or could download the Roku Sports app or Roku channel app so that they will be able to watch it.
Yeah.
Which is what I do.
Yes. Oh.
I didn't know, though, that I already had the Roku app until I tried to watch NWA Power and found out, I already have it.
Yeah, well, it automatically installed. And I mean, Roku, having a Roku box is possibly one of the greatest inventions on earth. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, not just wrestling, sports, movies, all sorts of crap. It's fun, and I've been watching a lot of stuff on there for years.
Before you even had a smart TV, a lot of times the only way you could watch some stuff like Disney or any of the other channels that there were, we'll say Netflix because it's the oldest one. If you didn't have a smart TV, that's the only way you could watch Netflix was a Roku or a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Heck, Roku was way before a Fire Stick. And I remember back in the day, I feel so old, when you could actually put on Roku channels and watch full-on wrestling programs that necessarily weren't always the most legal.
Oh, no. I want to get to a couple comments in the chat, and then I'd like to continue to talk about the NWA. But we have a new viewer in the chat, so I want to acknowledge him. Anthony, thanks for hanging out. He goes, who do you guys think overbloats their attendance numbers? Is it more AEW or WWE? Overbloats their numbers. I mean, I think, look, we know that AEW had been struggling to sell out their venues. Like you could see it. You could watch, I was at a couple years ago, I went to the AEW's Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. I think it was the second one that was in Vegas. And there were a lot of empty seats. That's 100% fact. And I think I went because my buddy was able to get 4 tickets for $10 each. And we literally drove 4 hours, watched the show, and drove 4 hours back home. It sucked. I'll never do it again. However, I mean, it was a pretty cool show, and the cost was was great, but they couldn't sell out the venue even with those super discounted tickets. So, I've never seen a WWE show that looked half empty, but I've seen lots of AEW shows that look half empty.
It's easier to overbloat when you're actually bloated to begin with.
Yeah.
Let's ask Tyrus. All right, Willie Bone, you can write that one down.
And then Anthony continues to say, hey, I'm a fan of AEW, and I feel they overload their numbers a little bit more because when you actually watch the TV and they pan out to the crowd, half the stadium is blocked up. Yeah, and that's not unusual either. I mean, going back to like 2007, Dave Marquez was doing those live NWA events that were filmed for Big Vision Entertainment. You could buy them on DVD, but they were doing these events all over the country. And I mean, they did the 60th anniversary show at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, which was huge. They didn't sell out that venue. They did the show at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, and I happened to go to that one. And yeah, that was like a 15,000 seat venue that they blocked off more than half. But that's not to say, like, okay, so half of 15,000 was like 7,500 people. It's still pretty good numbers for the, Dave Marquez's NWA. And it probably wasn't 7,500. It probably was like 5. And still, that's really good for Dave Marquez's NWA. Okay, this is funny. Willie Bowen said, copyright infringement, Jaden. But yeah.
Just like Bucket for Rents, I give you material.
Yeah, that's true. He does. But to answer your point, Anthony, yeah, I do believe that AEW does kind of stooge their numbers a little bit, but I don't think that's any different than anyone else. Everyone tries to claim that, we had 500 people. You had 150, bro. That's wrestling.
Well, you always have to question about.
Uh-oh. DK, are you there?
Event, and they use, and they would always drew 1,000 plus people. Always, I mean, it was 1,000 plus people. They had a strategy that kind of made sense. They would go to the small, medium-sized towns and cities that didn't really get much. They'd only go about once a year. They would team up with a school or a church or something. They would get a lot of sponsorships and everything. And they were kind of called out a couple of times because, like, one time they said they drew 1,000 people, and there was a picture where there was a sign that had the occupancy on it from the fire inspector, and it was like occupancy 750. And they were saying they drew 1,000. It's like, well, the city probably would have shut you down.
Yeah.
That had been the case. And then I remember talking to one wrestler in particular who had worked a couple of their shows. And he just looked at me and said, he goes, let me tell you, there's a difference between drawing 1,000 and selling 1,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, they don't sell anywhere near 1,000 tickets. He goes, they normally don't even draw, he goes, they draw about 700 in some of those towns. They go, but they only sell about 300 to 400.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, the average promoter would love to have that. But, you could say that and it would sound impressive. But for some reason, they always drew 1,000.
I knew a wrestling promotion that had their own concessions, and they would sell a few front row, so people were guaranteed to get front row, but they'd have about 500 people there because they made all their money off the concessions, and they made a lot of money. They made more off concessions than most wrestling promotions make off of books, off the attendance and tickets.
And that's kind of the reason why Marquez, United Wrestling Network works with the Improv, Levity Live, those comedy clubs, is because on a Tuesday most of those comedy clubs are closed. They don't do shows on a Tuesday. No one's going to a comedy club on a Tuesday. So they get the venue relatively cheap, and the venue's happy because there's a 2-drink minimum. You got to buy, a meal. You got to buy a drink. You got to get something. So they're making money by you being there, and it looks good for TV by the folks being there, and a lot of people buy the tickets, and they have to be there too. So, there's other ways to make money, and there's other ways to fill a building, and it's not always about the attendance, but. Anyways, let's get back to the NWA because we've been all over the place tonight, and there's 2 matches. We really have to talk about 2 matches, and I would like to do that before we get too much later. So, getting back to the opening packages, they did a terrific job of telling the story of who was in the semifinals. Obviously, the Colognes are a team that are relatively new to the NWA, but a lot of people know them from their run in the WWE, or if you are familiar with Puerto Rico, you know of the Colon family. Then we saw the team that made it to the finals last year, which was Odinson and Kratos, the Immortals. They're in the semifinals. You have the new team of the Holy Grail, which is PB Smooth and EC3, and the promos were all directed, at one another. Where, you've got EC3 calling Epico Orlando, because I think that's what they called him in the WWE, and then saying Primo was not a very good way to say number 1, and you got to burn down the islands, you got to burn the boats if you want to conquer the island, or something like that. All over the place. And then, of course, Murdoch's your tag team champions. I felt like the package was solid, and I hope that the NWA going forward does that. And that takes us to the first match of the night. Of course, we get the team of Epico and Primo, the Colognes, taking on the team of PB Smooth and EC3, also known as the Holy Grail, a.k.a. Team Exodus Pro. This matchup was kind of like a tale of 2 cities. Like, it was very... You had one match in the very beginning, and then things kind of sputtered out of control towards the end, where it seemed like a pretty good match. EC3 looked good. I felt PB Smooth looked really good in this match. The Colognes were really working, really doing the bumps for PB Smooth. And at one point, they threatened to grab a chair into the ring. That brings the manager, Pastor CeeLo, to the attention of I believe it was Primo. Grabs the chair out of his hands. The referee sees CeeLo with the chair and then throws him out. But while they were arguing, that's when the Colognes both took opportunities to kick EC3 straight in the balls. And that's basically how they won the match. And it's a good way for the Colognes to win because they're not above cheating. They're not above taking a quick break when they can get it. And I don't feel like that hurts EC3 or PB Smooth. Jaden, you were there live. You saw it with me live. What do you remember about this match?
I don't even remember the finish. That should tell you something. How much I must have paid attention to it, or maybe I was in a Mandela effect or something like that. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, so CeeLo has the chair. He takes it out of I think it was Epico's hands, and he's got the chair. And then Scott Wheeler, is telling him like, "No, you got to get out of here." And while that's happening, then the Colognes just kick EC3 right in the nuts like twice. I thought it was funny.
Pastor CeeLo holding the chair. He's just slightly bigger than Black G's. It's instead of Gary Coleman, that's Emmanuel Lewis.
Oh my God! The TV's Webster.
Yes. So instead of Gary Coleman, you have Emmanuel Lewis bringing out the chair. That's probably why I didn't see it. He's not tall enough to be seen. Either that or that one camera guy just kept walking in front of us.
That guy, man, ruined so many shots I took. Rick, you were watching it in the background. What did you think of this match?
It was all right.
Did it grab your attention at all?
Nothing grabbed my attention. The only thing is I tuned in for a couple minutes. And like I said, I had it out in the background while I was working today. I did turn around for a brief moment, and PB Smooth literally has nothing for me over this time. To me, I'm not convinced. It's just another big guy. I really do enjoy the Colognes, though, so far in their little run that they've had here. in the NWA. That's all I can offer. Sorry.
No, that's
Sorry.
that's why you're here, Professor.
Sorry.
No, you're good. DK, what did you think of this match? You watched it, yeah?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Did you like the finish?
It worked.
I mean, it's not the finish I would have picked, right? But I think it did a good job of like, well, EC3 doesn't lose heat because he was kicked in the balls twice. I think that's perfectly acceptable. If you're gonna lose, that's the way you want to lose, because I don't think you lose any heat with that.
Just children.
What's that?
Just children.
Yeah, well, I don't know if EC3 was gonna have any kids anyways.
This kind of goes back to one of the weaknesses in the NWA's Billy's booking style. Who's a heel? Who's a face? Who do you cheer for? Who do you boo for? But I don't like the one tag team as a tag team. They just don't resonate with me as a tag team. But overall, I'm still not a fan of Zippy. But
what did you call him, Skippy?
Zippy.
Oh my God!
He stole one of my lines.
Yes. And so, but
trademark.
Again, one of those just watching the match and everything like that. I enjoyed it. I thought the end worked. No, it's not the way I would have booked it, but it worked.
You should have called him Skippy because it could have been peanut butter smooth.
That would have been funny. That's why I laughed, because I thought that's what you said.
Smoother than a fresh jar Skippy.
All right, so then that leads us to the next segment of the show. Speaking of Alex Misery, which is perfect, you just showed up right on time. We got a recap from a few weeks ago of when the Lost kind of had that entanglement with Max the Impaler. They didn't really attack Max. They circled the ringside area when Max was in the match with Mims, and then Max, I guess, blaming the loss on the loss, follows them to the back where James Mitchell threw a fireball in their face. Now we saw their face. Excuse me. We saw this a few weeks ago, but this week they added Alex Misery promo, which I thought was perfect, because we've seen a lot of Alex Misery. He does a lot of crazy things in the ring. We don't hear a lot from Alex Misery, and I'm going to tell you, who we had on this podcast a couple weeks ago is exactly who we saw in front of the camera at the Crockett Cup. I don't have answers for the questions that Alex Misery asks, but I was happy to see him get some FaceTime in front of the camera. I feel like to establish his character and really the Lost, you're going to have to put a little bit more of a spotlight on that group. And there's no better choice to put a spotlight on than Alex Misery. I feel like he is very underrated on the roster in terms of what he can bring to the table. Obviously, he's out of his mind. Obviously, he's insane. And I think at some point he will show up at my house and murder me. But I feel like for the most part, Alex Misery is a very good talent for the NWA and should be given more of these opportunities.
Yeah, I do like Alex Misery, and I still say the tag team of him and Crazy Steve has a lot of crazy potential. And I think maybe they're future United States tag team champions. I would not mind seeing that. I also really enjoyed watching some of his skateboarding.
Yeah, he's an excellent skateboarder. He's also in a band. See, when I mentioned Billy having many hats that he likes to perform, so does Alex Misery. And he's not just a pro wrestler, but I mean, if he was just a pro wrestler, that'd be great.
Alex, real quick, what instrument do you play? And hopefully it's not a bass. And if it is, don't limit it to Billy. He hates bass players.
I think he's the lead singer. I don't know if he plays the instrument, but I'm sure he could tell us. Alex, what instrument do you play?
What kind of band is this?
I believe it's kind of like a thrash punk. I mean, I think that's what I would call it as. But Alex, enlighten us, because I don't want to misrepresent you. You're already scaring the crap out of me about talking about my home, and I don't know how you got those pictures, but please stop sending them to me.
Find out if you're your legitimate son.
What?
Go back full circle.
Thank you, Chris.
And real quick, Chris in the chat said, Rick, I like the video you and Henry did on a troll. What troll?
This a while back. Someone was trolling us, and I just called him out on his BS on a 20-minute rant.
Link me later. I'd like to watch it.
Absolutely.
Vocalist. You know what? Maybe we should just get a whole NWA and former NWA band concert going, because we got Alex Misery, we got Billy Corrigan. I heard Silas Mason is a musician.
Hammerstone can play the guitar.
Yeah, Hammerstone can play the guitar. And then there was Mecha Wolf.
Yeah.
And I heard what the crap is the guy's name? CBD.
Carson Bartholomew Drake.
Yeah, I heard he does the Backstreet Boys.
It's tearing up my heart.
All right, I'm not touching that one, but
all right.
Jokes.
So yeah, again, I was very impressed with Alex Misery's promo. Does anyone have anything they want to add to that?
Oh, actually, I'm wrong. Real quick, CBD is not from the Backstreet Boys. He is a Zack Attack cover band.
Oh my god! Friends forever. Yeah.
What was your question, Jay?
No, did anyone else have any comments on Alex Misery's promo? I thought it was great, and I want to see more Alex Misery on my TV. Less in my house, more on my TV.
It was very enjoyable. That's all I gotta say. So.
I'll have to check out Doug's TikTok so I'm gonna see what more about Alex Misery's band.
Yeah, I mean, because the dude's crazy. We know that the dude's crazy, but sometimes there's beauty in madness. Next up, we're back at Uncle Thrill's bar. It's an autograph signing. These are the kind of segments that I wish the NWA could stop. It starts off with the Kazanas on one side, Mims and Thrillbilly right in the middle, and then basically Team Crossfire. It's like it's Hunter, it's that other guy's name, Frank Tyler. It's the women's world champion, Kenzie Page, and her pops, Tommy Henry. I kept thinking his name was Chris. Tommy Henry. And the Kazanas are just ripping on the Henrys like nobody's business. You've got Kenzie pissed off at her pops for not standing up to those three lunkheads at the other side of the table. You've got Mims and Thrillbilly arguing about who's a winner, who's a loser. One of the things that really tickled me is that Thrillbilly blames EC3 for setting his house on fire. If you guys remember a few years ago, Thrillbilly's home did actually burn down. And I'm not trying to laugh. That's not funny. But what's funny is he blames EC3 for burning it down. And then
anybody know where Alex Misery was that night?
No, I don't. And I'm not asking questions that I don't want answers to. And then Thrillbilly, like right then and there, Thrillbilly's talk like, a couple weeks ago, there was that segment with Mims and Thrillbilly, and Thrillbilly was trying to get Mims to cover his back because he's going to make a push for that world title. And I thought that was just a seed being planted, but then again this week it's back again, and now Thrillbilly's like, you're the national champion, but I was a much better national champion, and pretty soon I'm going to be world champion when I take the belt off of Tom Latimer. And Mims is kind of laughing at him, and it was that part of the segment was kind of funny. With you don't even autograph fast enough, how are you going to be world champion? But I could deal without the rivalry between the Kazanas and the Henry family. I just don't think that's, at one point, little KC, the baby of the Kazanas, says to his papa, he goes, Dad, I think you owe him an apology. And he goes, apology? He says, yeah, you owe him an apology. And he goes, what do I have to be sorry for? Sorry that he sucks and we're so good. And it's like, it wasn't great, but there were things that made me laugh. Then we got another package for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Now, again, this package was solid. And if I was directing this show, I would have saved this package for the opening of Power next week, because then they do some more promos building up to the match afterwards, and it kind of negates the the gravity of the package, the video package, because they're saying the same things we already heard. It's like, well, it's kind of redundant. We don't need both of them. But basically, one of the things that Kobe said, which was really cool, is like, look, the king doesn't have to die to crown the prince, or something like that. I thought that was really good, because his dad was always the king of old school, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. You've got Colby challenging for that title next week. There is a lot of significance there. The fact that it's at the 2300 Arena, a place where his dad kind of came into prominence in pro wrestling, a lot of good illusions there, a lot of good imagery, and with what they were saying. And then we also get Rhino saying the 2300 is where I became hardcore. Again, building that up, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm kind of getting jacked up, because the segment is really kind of playing the role. And Tom admits, like, I don't even have to be pinned to lose the title, and I'm up against it, but I'm going to burn the building down because I'm Tom Latimer. And, these were really good. And I thought these were great promos, great segments. And my only problem with these are the fact that they just repeat kind of the promos that were shot as well. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to that? Okay. Lastly, we get a Thrillbilly promo, and he's talking about how we saw the recap of him beating Hammerstone, where the Southern Six did get involved, but really never touched Hammerstone. But it was a low blow from Silas Mason to get the pin on Hammerstone. And Thrillbilly gets really animated, and to my chagrin, he had a snot bubble. I don't know if you guys saw this, if you were looking closely.
I didn't realize it, no.
But it was like, why did we keep that as a final take? Maybe because of the intensity was there, and maybe you just can't match that intensity. But like, I would not have included a snot bubble. Like, I would have like, nope, cut. Go blow your nose. Let's try this again. But when he calls out Tom Latimer, and like, this is the first time he put Tom's name into the universe, he's like, it wasn't that I'm going to be the next world champion. It's that I'm coming for you, Tom. Like, that was pretty epic. And despite the snot bubble, it was a very intense and good promo from Thrillbilly Silas Mason. That's something that we know he's capable of. It's not anything new. It's just fun to be reminded of it. DK, what did you think of that promo?
There was a snot bubble.
Go back and watch. It was hard for me to concentrate on anything else. There was a snot bubble that just kept kind of...
It added to the intensity,
Yeah. Well, I kept like, don't let it touch your lips. Don't let it touch your lips. And I was like, no.
Oh, that's not right.
It's not right.
Yeah, that probably should have been...
Maybe they just let Silas boogie.
It probably shouldn't have been done like that, but like you said, there was intensity in it. I mean, the promo itself was pretty good, but yeah, that was just a little bit distracting. And by a little bit, I mean a lot.
So you actually saw it?
Yeah, that was the initial thing was a joke. It was like, oh, really? It was pretty obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were figured that one out, DK.
No, that kind of flew right over my head. So if I didn't know. But it did feel like that snot bubble was right there. Over on TikTok, they said that sounds sick, and look, it is what it is. He's an intense guy. The thing about Thrillbilly Silas Mason, and if you're not watching the NWA, first of all, you might want to consider it, because Thrillbilly Silas Mason is a lot of fun. He's a great entertainer and a great wrestler. He's the guy that can do everything, and I feel like that's why he might be the future of the NWA. But he, that intensity is there, and he spits when he talks. He's got snot dripping out of his mouth. That's the sign of a savage, man. He's ready to go, and he doesn't care that snot's coming out of his nose or that he spits when he talks. He's fired up, and I feel like that is 100% what you need it to be. As someone who's going to challenge for your world champion, I want somebody to be that hungry and that intense and that fired up, because Tom Latimer, I'm not saying Tom's been cruising, but Tom has looked very strong as world's heavyweight champion. And yeah, I guess that's that.
Yeah, no, he was intense. I really enjoyed it, and I think I gave my thoughts earlier in the show, so I don't think I have to repeat it.
Yeah,
But he's one of the best talkers in the NWA today. Let's just say that.
for sure.
Is he enough to make you pop and go nuts watching him win a match there, Rick?
Wait, what? Repeat that?
Is he enough to make you pop and go nuts and go crazy and absolutely lose your shit to when he wins a match?
Absolutely. You're
No, and
mocking me. I know you're mocking me. So, yes, the answer is yes. I lost my at NWA 77. So, for everybody that's listening,
Make sure to check out his TikTok and his Instagram and check out. He'll probably have it on PW Wire when it actually happens on live. Cheap plug.
you got it. Yep.
Only he'll update the
And
PWI.
I don't do that. And I don't do that often. I don't lose my shit often at wrestling shows. So
there was a video clip that I filmed at not Crockett Cup, but last year's anniversary show. Jaden was sitting next to me, and there was a chop that damage hit on Kratos, and it was the loudest like chop I've ever heard. And I said, "Holy shit!" because like it just blew my mind. And like I was recording, trying to be all coy about it, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes, and that's when wrestling's at its best is when they make you say things like "Holy shit."
yes.
Because, that's when
You get lost. You get lost in the moment, and that's what professional wrestling is supposed to do to you. And that doesn't happen often today. Watching a lot of modern wrestling, so the fact that it actually happens sometimes is pretty damn amazing. Wrestling, a lot of wrestling is about the elements of surprise and the enjoyment of it. It's everything. A lot of things are just so predictable that you can't get surprised. So, the element of surprise that when something does happen, it's very enjoyable.
I was
kind of like this past weekend at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators event at Rowan University when Ox Adams picked up Dave Dahl and didn't snap his back in half, picking up that big load of manatee that Dave Dahl is. I yelled, "Holy shit!" then too. So. And then when he hit the ground, we all jumped up in the air to make sure we didn't fall into an abyss.
Did you feel like you were in California when he dropped and the whole ground started shaking?
It was like a 6.8 easily.
It wasn't a 6'7"?
No, but the guy who's wrestling was 7 foot tall.
You're talking about pops or going crazy or whatever. If you ever want to watch how popular wrestling used to be, and compared to today, you can find it on YouTube. But there's a video of
DK.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
You yes. Now you can. And you went there's a video of dramatic pause.
Okay, there was a video of the Rock and Roll Express when they returned to Greensboro after regaining the tag team titles from the Midnight Express. So that crowd that night was expecting to see the Rock and Roll Express challenge for the World Tag Team titles against the Midnight Express. Instead, they were defending against the Midnight Express. So the crowd figured out the title change. They were told in the arena, and then, of course, the Midnights came out first and everything. And then the music hits. And the Rock and Roll start their 20-minute entrance. And the reason it was 20 minutes is because the crowd, as soon as the music hit, the crowd blew the freaking roof off the joint. They were clawing at the Rock and Roll Express. The Rock and Roll Express showed up to the ring, with women's nails still stuck in their outfits and, scratches, literal scratches from, being clawed at. And you'll never understand things like that if you didn't live in that area. or live in that era. Excuse me, not area, era. Because, we had the same thing here with the Von Erichs. Tommy Rich had it, and that was even before there was music. But yeah, the way the fans reacted to these things, you don't get that today.
Except for very brief moments, yeah, it's real hard. There's no extended versions of that now. Now you have to have oh shit moments.
Oh God.
And by the way, that match, because it was on TV, that rematch went about 9 minutes before Jim Cornette interfered with his racket and got the midnight.
Yeah.
Do you think the crowd cared?
Nope.
Do you think the crowd went away and said, "Oh man, that was barely a match"? Those teenage girls were
screaming.
Jim Cornette tells a story about how he was like the only heel that used to get fan mail in Atlanta and stuff like that, because those teenage girls would write him and talk about how much they hated him and how they would put a like one sent him a booger on a piece of paper because that's what he was.
A what?
Booger.
Oh shit.
Not shit, booger. And it's just incredible. So yeah, it's that was a totally different day and time.
All right, well, let's get to the final match, and it was the tag team match, and I think this was Jaden's favorite match of the entire Crockett Cup. You had two Haas tag teams. Let's be honest. I think the term meaty men slapping meat was reserved for this matchup right here, because you had Murdoch's, your NWA World Tag Team Champions, taking on the Immortals, JR Kratos and Odinson. And these guys were just beating the ever-living hell out of each other. And it got to a point where during the middle of the match, you see Trevor getting really frustrated. Normally, Trevor has, almost his entire career in the NWA, he has been a babyface. When he won the national title, he was a face. When he won the world title, he was a face. When he regained the world title, he was a face. When they won the tag titles, when they won the Crockett Cup, baby face. But this was a very frustrated Trevor Murdoch, and it didn't matter how hard he hit Kratos or Odinson; they kept coming back up. And at one point, Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox went for the high-low, and they hit the wrong guy. They hit Kratos when Odinson was the legal man. And so I think I said that backwards. They hit Odinson when Kratos was the legal man. And so that looked like that was going to be it, but the referee realized it was the wrong person, refused to count. Kratos and was kind of recovering on the outside. They tried to hit him with the same move. He blocked it and then hit some kind of weird stunner. Maybe it was even a European uppercut. I'm not sure. I don't think it landed properly, but he connected with Knox for a big move, went for the pin, and instead of Trevor Murdoch going to hit Kratos, he just jumps on the referee, which in most normal cases that would have been a disqualification. The referee obviously didn't see who hit him, so they just kind of let it go, and so the match continued, and Murdoch, so frustrated, so over it, grabs Knox's handkerchief and begins to choke out Kratos. And Kratos sold like a champ. He really looked like he was dying in the ring. It looked legit. And he was just wrapping that thing around his neck and twisting it. And it almost looked like he was really doing some harm. And then Smalls gets in the ring and starts yelling at Murdoch to stop. Smalls has been kind of their mascot, I guess, a good luck charm, manager, dare I say. He was a part of the Cup and the tag team tournament earlier in the show, and obviously didn't advance. So then started partnering up again with his guys Murdoch and Knox. And for his trouble, Trevor kicks him right in the face.
Best part.
And if you listen closely, you can hear Jaden say a lot of things that we can't say because we're on TikTok right now. He begins to use that handkerchief on Smalls, and you see Knox being the voice of reason stops him, and you think, oh, okay, we're gonna get this taken care of. That we're not gonna choke out the little guy. Nope. Knox starts choking out the little guy. Eric Smalls is bleeding from the mouth. I mean, it looks so violent. This was perfect to make them a heel tag team. This was the best opportunity to do it, and it looked good for television. Eventually, Kratos gets back up, regains his composure, and they get a roll up for the pin. 1, 2, 3. The referee counts it, and Trevor's just beside himself. They already beat up their mascot. Kratos and Odinson advance to the Crockett Cup. They'll be in the finals 2 years in a row. The World Tag Team Champions eliminated from the Cup. I mean, this was a great heel turn for Murdoch and Mike Knox. And I got to know, Rick, what did you think of this match, seeing it for the first time?
It was pretty intense. All over the place battle, like you said, beefy, meaty fight, slappy stuff. Them basically, I literally thought they were going to kill Eric Smalls. I was like, dude, they look like they're going a little hard on him. Like,
a little hard.
So I was like, I thought they were taking it to a little bit, too much.
Jaden, stop laughing.
Jesus.
Stop saying funny
In
things.
seriousness. But, and I was like, damn, man. I was like, I can't believe that they were really taking it to him like that. So, but it was really good. And I think that, man, the Immortals, I enjoy them more and more each and every time I see them. They've literally become one of my favorite tag teams. And Kratos has become one of my favorite wrestlers in the NWA. I mean, I really always enjoyed him, but it's like more and more. Like they get to that favorite status every time I see him. So I enjoyed the whole entire segment.
Now I got to ask you, DK, what did you think of this match?
Well, since you asked, just getting to what Rick was saying and making way too many puns for Jaden to handle. It's been a while since I've been kind of that uncomfortable watching something in the ring where you're kind of going,
yes.
That looks stiffer than maybe it should be.
It was rough.
And so, yeah, it's been a little while before something's kind of actually made me a tad bit uncomfortable. But the match itself was good. It progressed well. Of course, I do like hoss fights, so I was enjoying the hoss fight there. And they did a smart thing in turning the champs heel, and then a smarter thing by having the other team win, because we kind of said last year after they lost in the Crockett Cup, it's like you got to find something for teams to do where they start, they either got to advance or stick around, near the top, or you kind of got to do, change things up, maybe let them move on or whatever. And those in Kratos were kind of on that line of do something with them, piss or get off the pot, so to speak. So, they did the right thing. They kept them interested in stone, and of course that's what sets up world title match at 77. Even though they advertised something completely different, they actually put on the right match, and they had the right winners at the 77. So
And that's more info than anyone was going to be told. Jaden, what did you think about the match? I mean, we saw it live. Obviously, you were very much into the Eric Smalls uncomfortability, but
there was no uncomfortability about it. The only thing I'm mad about is they didn't punt him into the audience. I loved it. They need to.
You think they'd pass him around?
They need to pass him around. Just throw him up in the air, kick him out, kick him into the audience, punt him, toss him, whatever they do to those short, statured people.
Thank you.
But seriously, I loved it. I want him to beat up Eric Smalls more. I wanted to see if they tag me in if I can get a couple shots in.
You were wearing a mask, so it would have worked.
Yes, I could have been the new manager of Murdoch, and they would never. They would have still. They would be extremely successful right now if I was, even more so than they were. And I loved it. I hated the idea of them with Eric Smalls. It was stupid to begin with.
It was always a bad look.
Yeah. And it's a shame they came up short because of him.
Here we go. Let's hear it.
I don't know. I think the beat up was kind of half-assed though. They should have went much further.
What, put him in a meat grinder? I mean, what more could they have done?
Like I said, tossed him into the audience. Tossed him in the toilet. I don't care. Flushed him like he belonged. No, but I love the match itself. I remember loving it then. It was a great match. I love the fact they beat up Eric Smalls. And they should have beat up Sam Stackhouse too, because there was a lot of beef there.
Well,
they could have had.
He should have come out, right? Like, that's your tag team partner.
They should have, and then they could have had a full side of beef and some short ribs too.
Yeah, so I don't know where to go with that. I honestly don't. That was the Crockett Cup semifinals. Of course, next week we will see the world title match between Rhino, Colby Carino, and Tom Latimer, as this was the main event. No, it wasn't the main event. It was the second to last match at Crockett Cup. So excited to see the match play out on TV. I don't know what they're going to pair with it. And then the other interesting note is tomorrow night in Tampa at the PBS studios out there in Tampa, back to the studios for more power tapings. So, nobody's listening to us when we say that, hey, you've got enough in the can. Let's let it feed out a little bit. But that's where it's at anyway. So I guess that's going to do it for us this week. I want to give you guys all an opportunity to plug what's going on. Of course, we're not just on YouTube. We're not just on Twitch. We're also right now on TikTok as well. So plug away, my friends.
Who wants to go first? DK?
All right. DK, anybody?
Hey, all I have is our upcoming World Women's Title match, IHWE something. It's coming September 27th in Alvarado, Texas. Victoria Mosh, the Mistress of Metal, the Bombshell, Haley Danielle. She'll be looking to land that Haley's Comet, which is a pop-up power bomb. So we'll look and see. We're waiting to see what happens that night. That's all I have. Sorry, I was unprepared and I'm somewhat sick.
You're good. We'll go with Rick.
This week, tomorrow, I will be talking to the chef, Pete Gianni, a great professional wrestler from the area, Connecticut area. And this Sunday, Jaden, you'll probably love this one. You ready? Me and historian Anthony Brennan will be discussing classic sitcom, pro wrestling adjacent, legendary, learning the ropes. Exactly. We will be discussing learning the ropes, breaking it down, and talking about how wonderful it was. Yeah, maybe that might be a slight exaggeration. But either way. I loved it as a kid, but that was also 1987. That was also 1987. So
it came on right after Worldwide Wrestling when I was watching it on Channel 17 in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Lyle Azedo was gassed to the gills, but he looked the part. He kind of reminded me of Al Perez. Do you guys remember Al Perez?
Of course. The Latin heartthrob.
Yeah, you reminded me of Al Perez, like the world's strongest man thing, and it was like, yeah, man, let's go, let's do this.
Al Perez wasn't the world's strongest man.
That's Ted
right?
Arcidi.
Ted
Ted Arcidi, yeah.
My
Al Perez is actually Seth Rollins' illegitimate father.
You might be right.
To go back to all those illegitimate stuff we were talking about.
Yeah, sure.
All the kids. Okay.
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about kids.
All right.
Yeah, you're still focusing on me too much. So,
yeah.
Jaden, you're not supposed to be talking about kids. Let's keep going.
Yes. Anyway, Dog had an event this past Saturday at the Chamberlain Students Center at Rowan University. The name was really long and I hate it, so I'm not going to go over. But we have some really great matches out there. It's on YouTube right now. The Rowan Television Network produced it, and it's going in there. So if you want to watch it, I highly recommend you watch Dave Dogg get beat up by a 7-foot giant. That was really good. The Vinny the Fixer versus Ty Thomas match, that was really good too. It's a really good action. The crowd interaction, the sound from that crowd, it even comes through very well on the video. So make sure you listen to how great it was, especially when Dave Dogg got kicked by 3 members of Primal Fear.
Yeah.
Basically, every time Dave Dogg gets anything happen to him, that's worth watching. But it's again, to watch it down, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It was a 4-hour event. It surprisingly didn't feel like it. And check it out on YouTube. Make sure you also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Dog Pro Wrestling, Twitch, X, Blue Sky, Bumble. What's the one that I keep forgetting about? The
Farmers
one
Only.
that Farmers Only, Pornhub, all of it. Just follow Dog Pro Wrestling. And we have events coming up. First of all, there's the next one is going to be October 2nd at the Rowan College of Burlington County. It's a private event, so you just have to sign up for college. But it's community college, so you can afford it better. But you get to go for a free event as part of the Rowan College of Burlington County. And also we have the 18th of October at the Sacred Heart Church located at 103 4th Street in beautiful historic Riverton, New Jersey. Currently signed is the son of living legend Larry Zbyszko. Timothy Zbyszko will be there. And all the champions, if they're champions still, whatever the champions are, will be defending their championships on that card too. So make sure you check it out. All the great professional wrestling and Daredevil Dave Dogg will be there too.
There it is. So I think that's going to do it for us this week. Why isn't my screen changing? Okay. There it is. There it is. All right. That's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us with the new streaming software. I hope you guys didn't hate it so much. We did our best. It'll only get better from here on out. I kind of promise. Kind of. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us. Until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Oh, there's no audio with this. That's great. Thank you for tuning in to the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. Make sure you join us each and every week as we do lots of fun and entertaining NWA talk. And until next time, we'll see you